But the card starts with a match that not really interested in. This is Renan Barao versus Anthony Leone. Leone has a perfect record of 8. Wins, he's got 4 submissions and 4 decisions, but he's faced no calibers. Renan also has faced no calibers, but his record is 22-1. He's never been finished, and he's got 10 submission wins. Bit of a squash match, I think, unless there's anything special about either of them, which I don't know about. So I'm going to go for Renan Barao. I'll go for a bar submission in the 3rd. Rafael Rebelledo versus Chris Carayaso, something like that, I don't know. He's got a record of 9-1, wins by decision, loses by TKO. He's faced no calibers, and this is his debut. He's going up against Rafael Rebelledo, who is an American top team product with a record of 6-3. Wins by submission, loses often by decision. This is in fact his first match after a year off. I think that's injury, but I'm not quite sure. Wins over the likes of Kyle Dietz, loses to the likes of Kenji Osawa. Rafael Rebelledo should win this one. The only thing I think standing in his way may be the amount of time he's had off. We call that sort of ring rust, really. I'm going to go for Rafael Rebelledo, but I shall go for decision here. I'm using ATT, I think, as my main reason why I think he'll probably win. He should win, but anyway. Rafael Assange versus Diego Nunes. Big fan of Rafael Assange. I believe he is a sucker punch fighter, or he is very closely connected to them. His record is 14-2, which matches up quite nicely with Diego's 13-1. He mainly wins by submission. He's got 8 of them, and loses to serious calibers like Jeff Curran or Uriah Faber. He's won over the likes of Joe Lozon, Joe Pearson and Jamel Massou. Diego Nunes, he's possibly more well-rounded in the way he wins. He's got 6 submission victories and 5 TKO victories. He, of course, is coming from Team Nog, which we mustn't forget. He is, though, coming off a loss. It's a decision, his only loss, to LC Davis. That is actually the only time he's fought a serious caliber. I'm going to favour Rafael Assange here. I'm not sure if I dare go for a submission victory. I might, I'm afraid, go for decision, Rafael Assange decision here. Eric Cockburt versus Bendy Casimir. Again, a big fan of Eric Koch, to be honest. Can't remember if he's Sucker Punch as well, or if he's actually MFS affiliated. I can't remember. He's one or the other. Most of the fighters I support are. His record is 9-1. He's actually going up against Bendy Casimir, who has a sort of a double record, really, 19-6. And Bendy Casimir has never seen decision. Loses by TKO and submission. Wins, he's got 12 submissions. Won over the likes of Andre Winner, but he's lost to a lot of English, in fact, people. So he must have been around the English circuit one time. Names such as Robbie Olivier, Lee Remedios, and Ricardo Lamas recently. Eric Koch, you know, he also wins by submission. He's got 6. He's also never been finished. He's coming off a loss to Chad Mendes. Wins over the likes of Jamel Massou and Joe Pearson. I do think this is a big step up for him, really, at least on paper. But I think he just might win. I shall go for. I shall go actually and say TKO. I don't think I'm going to be confident enough to say submission, and I don't really want to go for decision again. So I shall go for TKO in the 3rd there. Wagner Fabiano is facing Frank Gomez. Frank Gomez out of the Jackson camp with 8-1. Wins by TKO, loses by submission. wins over the likes of Seth Deacon, loses to the likes of Scott Jorgensen. WEC Fabiano 13-2. He's got 7 submission victories, never been TKO'd. Wins over the likes of LC Davis and Fredson Paxeo. Loses to the likes of Jeff Curran and Mackin Semisizer. I have a feeling that Fabiano is a little bit inconsistent in terms of the calibers of people he wins and loses against. This is actually quite a good match, I think, and quite a hard one to call. I think I'm going to have to go with Wagner Fabiano. I shall go for submission, I shall go for bar submission in the third, but actually I'm not confident on that at all. Colindarabedian is facing Will Kerr, bit of a squash match this. Kerr is 8-2, loses to likes of Kamal Shalorus. Colindarabedian 9-2, but he is absolutely fantastic, even if he is coming off a loss. Wins over the likes of Razor Rob, loses to the likes of Bart Palaziewski. Wins usually by TKO and decision. I'm going to go for TKO in the first there. Will Campuzano versus Eddie Wineland should win this one, I think. I'm going to go for submission here. I'll go for choke in the second. Chris Horodecki is facing Ed Radcliffe. Another nice match, this one. I'm just not completely sure that Chris Horodecki really is as good as he was in the IFL. I shall go out on a limb and say he is. I shall go for split decision there. Josh Grisby versus LC Davis. Interesting one, this. Actually, their records aren't too dissimilar. 13-1, 16-2. Josh Grisby loses by submission once, wins TKO and submission. His last win was James Pulver, which was quite some time ago, and he did tell me why, but I can't remember. May have been because he went in for some sort of knee surgery, or that could be somebody else, I can't remember. He does have a habit of winning over sort of medium range calibers. You've got Micah Miller and Mark Hominick in his background. The thing LC Davis has over him, really, is that he's fought more calibers. He's also on a 3-fight win streak. He's beaten the likes of Javier Vasquez. I am going to go for LC Davis here. But I think it could be decision again. I'm so sorry to be boring. Mark Hominick versus Yves Jaboin. I think this is going to be. Mark Hominick's night. Still going to give the edge, I think, here to Mark Hominick. I'm going to go for choke submission in the first there. And the final here, Jamie Varner versus Kamal Shalorus. I can't remember if Jamie Varner was the one accused of the lacklustre performance against Benson Henderson when he was in a choke and didn't really defend it at all. I can't remember if that's him or not. Have a feeling it was. However, he does have wins over the likes of Marcus Hicks and Razor Rob. He's got 5 TKO and 9 submission victories in his 16-3. Kamal Nunes got a perfect record of 6 if you don't count 1 miscellaneous. He wins usually by TKO, but he hasn't fought many calibers. You know, I think this might be Jamie Varner's night. Not quite sure why Kamal Shalorus is fighting him. I don't know too much about Kamal Shalorus really, but I know quite a lot about Jamie Varner, so I'm surprised I haven't heard about other people that are going to fight him, but there we are. I'm going to go for Jamie Varner. But I think it might go all the way to decision. I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt to Shalorus because he's got a perfect record and because I think Varner was the one who showed the very lacklustre performance last time. Could be wrong there, could be doing them both a big disservice, but there we are. Have to choose someone.